Hey, this is Nat, and we're off our couch in Orlando, Florida at Dezerland Park, the largest indoor attraction in the state of Florida at 800,000 square feet. Admission is free, there is no charge to enter, and there are numerous attractions that you can enjoy and purchase individually, like arcade games, go-kart races, bowling, axe throwing, a rage room, glow-in-the-dark mini golf, and there's still even more activities available in this indoor park and more to come. This video, we're in the Auto Museum, courtesy of Groupon. We purchased Groupons to visit the museum. We've been wanting to check it out, so this is a great opportunity to view this massive collection. There are also passes, buy one, get one free passes to the Auto Museum at the entrance during our visit. So yet another discounted way to visit this museum, which features over thousands of vehicles within over 17 themed car exhibits. And we're focusing on one exhibit today, the Bond Museum. To enter the Bond Museum, we first need to enter the Bond Lounge, where they serve drinks, yes, martinis, other drinks too, non-alcoholic beverages as well, of course, and food. This is just awesome in our opinion. The theming in the Bond Lounge is incredible, and we'll be back to hang out here. This is a must, but we're going to do the museum first. We feel that's necessary to really get into the Bond mood or mindset before enjoying the lounge. And we'll also be back exploring the rest of the Auto Museum and other attractions at Dezerland. So be sure to subscribe and keep getting off the couch with us too, please. So here we are entering the Bond Museum, the world's largest collection of screen-used Bond vehicles, aircraft, and memorabilia. As we take a look around, that previous statement doesn't even seem necessary. This place is massive. The museum starts with the original Bond, Sean Connery and Dr. No, to Daniel Craig's Spectre. Bond to me is Daniel Craig and Pierce Brosnan. That's when I first started watching the movies. London started in on the Bond movies during the Roger Moore films. So we felt to really appreciate this collection, we needed to go back to the beginning. So London and I have started watching the Sean Connery films, and we'll point out just a few things as we go, like the Shark Tank. That's what I'm calling it, from Dr. No. Very easy to recognize, really easy to remember, as well as the bed above the car. You can see the famous gold painted body from Goldfinger. And here is Bond's Aston Martin DB5 with the guns out, armed and ready. This iconic Bond vehicle debuted in Goldfinger. It's also in Thunderball, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, Skyfall, Spectre, and the latest movie, No Time to Die. There is a tamer version of the Aston Martin DB5 behind us as well. And beside the Aston Martin DB5 is a plane from the movie Goldfinger. And I wouldn't have noticed this unless the manager of the Bond Lounge pointed this out to us. The plane has two different sides, so it could be used in two different scenes in the movie Goldfinger. Before you visit this museum, we really recommend going back and refreshing your memory or watching some of the movies maybe you haven't seen, and like we did, because it's cool to see the vehicles or props and say, oh yeah, I remember that. As I just stated though, we're actually watching the movies after the fact, after visiting this museum in person. And it's still really cool to think back to our visit and recall seeing these movie props in person. And if you see a vehicle, costume, villain, or prop that you recognize, reminisce along with us and tell us in the comments. Also, we really want to know, who is your favorite Bond? Do you have a favorite Bond movie? Let us know your thoughts about all of that too, please. I'll be honest, it wasn't until I started watching the older Bond movies that I realized the Austin Powers series. The movies that I love and own, they came out during my lifetime while I was an adult and didn't need approval to watch these types of movies. I just realized they were actually loosely based on those older Bond movies. The jokes make so much more sense now. I have to go back and rewatch those too. Okay, so we're moving towards the more recent Bond movies now. There's more of the museum behind that statement red wall, which we'll visit in a bit, but we'll continue to look at the vehicles, the planes, contains all of the movie props. So we're moving from Moonraker to For Your Eyes Only, still on the Roger Moore films. These are all the Bond films by Eon Productions, by the way. There's a total of 25, therefore there are 6 different Bonds represented from those films within this museum. So we started with Sean Connery. George Lazenby did 1 film, then back to Sean Connery, then Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and then Daniel Craig. The most recent film featuring Daniel Craig, No Time to Die, we're not seeing any of the props from that film. Going back and watching the older movies and reading about the James Bond franchise did take me down a rabbit hole. I discovered a lot as the times changed. If you go back and watch some of the older movies or remember some of the older movies and then compare them to the more recent movies, some of Bond's habits and socially accepted behaviors changed with the times. And due to the spoofs of the older movies, the film started taking a more serious tone over the years also. I was most surprised to learn that James Bond, that is his actual name. I would think in that line of work, an alias would be a good idea. But the novels confirmed the work of Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond. James Bond is his birth name. And James Bond novels are still being produced too. Something else I didn't know. Another thing I learned from London, Blofeld is James Bond's arch nemesis, and his appearance does change from film to film, something that we discovered after watching on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the film featuring George Lazenby as Bond. Back to what we're seeing though, this collection is something else. I feel there were more props from the previous movies. It's still really cool though, the entire museum. We'll head back to the back of the museum now. Let me mention also, the whole time we've been walking, gawking, and exploring, different opening theme songs from the James Bond films have been on rotation. And this is a necessary photo spot here in front of this red wall. Got to strike some type of pose and get a photo in front of this wall for your memories. And this may sound crazy, but the collection behind this red wall is more impressive than all that we just saw. Yeah, that's my opinion, of course, but take a look around with us and tell me if you agree or disagree. From what I read, the James Bond movie franchise is the 5th highest grossing movie franchise, which has spawned toys, games, comic books, video games, apparel, souvenirs. The list goes on and on. So if you're a collector, you can definitely stay busy. There's more movie memorabilia in here too. Check out the golden gun here. From the film The Man with the Golden Gun, obviously, I expected to see the memorabilia from the movies. We've been seeing lots of that the entire visit. I did not expect the radio or the neckties or all of the 7-Up cans. These shelves are packed with 007 related material, and then there's even more on top of the shelves and above the shelves on the wall. Really, it's overwhelming. I think I need a martini. That sounds like a great idea. London agrees and the kids want hot chocolate, so we're going to head now to the Bond Lounge. I added the Bond Lounge to my bucket list and crossed it off all in the same day. I didn't realize this was something I needed to experience in my lifetime until I saw it. And we received this coupon for the Bond Lounge when we arrived. And we were going to enjoy a martini anyway, so this is a bonus. Maybe we'll get a couple now. There are 5 martinis we can choose from. There are also cocktails, wine, beer, and seltzers, as you can see. London and I are both going to get a martini. I imagine James Bond drinks a dirty martini or a Vesper martini, which is 3 parts gin, 2 parts vodka, and 1 part vermouth. That's a serious martini. London says he may try that one next time. For this occasion, he has a pineapple martini, which he loves. He's using the Russian tank from GoldenEye as the perfect backdrop. Another interesting fact that the manager of the Bond Lounge told us, they drove this tank in here and they filled in the tracks to keep the tank from damaging the floor. We actually had the chance to see this tank in action during the movie because they play Bond films right here in the lounge. It's really cool how thoroughly immersed we are in the world of Bond in both the museum and the lounge. Back to the martinis, I have a different one than London, the lemon drop. Sweet, sour, delicious. I love it. They do have a full menu with appetizers, salads, pizzas, Philly cheesesteaks, burgers, including a Beyond Burger, and other items, as well as a little agent's menu, the kids menu. To go along with their hot chocolates, my son has a chicken tenders meal and my daughter has a hot dog meal. The kids are enjoying their meals, they're enjoying the atmosphere. I'm surprised how much they're enjoying themselves. They don't really know anything about the James Bond franchise, but they're enjoying the action scenes from the movie and all of the theming. There's more than just the Russian tank to look at in the lounge. Another prop is directly in front of the TV. This is the actual Land Rover used in the film Casino Royale. A little insight into the secrets of the movie world. They use paint to create these grimy effects we often see in action movies. There's also a Lotus Esprit within the Bond Lounge, as seen on the road and in the water in the film The Spy Who Loved Me. And past the restrooms that just has awesome theming on the outside is a tribute to some of the Bond girls, because you can't have a Bond movie without the Bond girls. The Bond girls, the cars, the amazing life-saving gadgets are all part of the allure of the James Bond films and the experience of watching the movies. Thanks so much for joining us during this experience of the Bond Museum and Lounge. Tell us what you think. London and I really enjoyed ourselves. London loved seeing the cars up close. I enjoyed learning more about the Bond films and franchise. The kids enjoyed walking around and looking at all the different cars, especially the ones that are not your everyday cars. London and I thought the museum and lounge were extremely well done, especially the lounge in my opinion. The graphics are polished and stylish, more polished and stylish than a museum, I would say. The museum and the lounge though, they both exceeded my expectations, I'll admit. We really enjoyed ourselves. We thought it was a wonderful experience. I actually feel the Bond Museum warrants the cost of admission to the Auto Museum on its own. Of course, we did explore the rest of the Auto Museum still, so join us next week again here off our couch at Dezerland. Please subscribe and meet us back here for more fun and more action. And please tell us in the comments, leave us your thoughts. Let us know, have you been to the Bond Museum yet already? Are you planning to go? What martini did you order? What martini are you going to order? And are you going to have it at the table or the bar? That's our next treat, to enjoy a martini at the bar, just like in the movies. We do hope you found this video helpful. If so, hit the thumbs up button, leave us a comment. Thanks again for joining us here in the Bond Museum and Lounge at Dezerland Park. Thanks so much for getting out the couch with us. Thanks so much for joining us in these adventures and making this all possible. Thank you. Until next week, click on the video to see another one of our experiences. Thanks for watching.